I have to say, I feel a certain responsibility every day for finding a beautiful place in the woods here. These woods aren't that big, so it's taking me more and more time to search out and try and find something. I was worried today because they were blowing leaves or something nearby, one of those sounds of summer. And it was going to be quite a bother if they didn't stop, but it seems like their schedule is agreeable. Anyway, just continuing on with yesterday's thoughts about our extraordinary circumstances these days, and how to take them in stride and make the best of them to actually grow and be better people at the end of it. And I keep thinking, oh gosh, it's almost over. Things are starting to open up again, and if you look closer at the news with some sobriety, you realize, boy, we might be into this for quite some time, and that's a little bit disheartening. And I wanted to address that in myself, and I thought I would share kind of my thinking on it. Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, is always a great one for encouragement. I always joke that if you go through his complete works and read the last paragraph of most of the things he's written, most of his letters and lectures, he soars in that last paragraph. He just loves to pull out all the stops and just fly, reminding you of your great inner nature and your infinite strength and the beautiful wonder of the divine, and how it's all in your grasp and moments away. And it's really delightful. It's really wonderful. So I went skipping through those sayings today and found a letter to a Dr. Rao in India that he was writing, and encouraging him about the work there in India. He says, "But my son, here are the drawbacks. Nothing shall be done in haste. It's going to take time. Purity, patience, and perseverance are the three essentials to success, and above all, love." Now, he doesn't say four. He still maintains three and says above all, love, even though it's not in the list. That means that all of those are areas of subject of love, that they are under love, that none of those three things can be accomplished without love. All time is yours. There is no indecent haste. Everything will come right if you are pure and sincere. We want hundreds like you bursting upon society and bringing new life and vigor of the spirit wherever they go. Godspeed to you. The wonderful thing about Vivekananda's writings, these letters were personal, of course, but the fact that the divine has put them in a book and given them to us means these letters are for us. And so each letter that Swamiji wrote is written to you, it's written to me, and we can take it personally into heart like that. I was just looking at that idea of purity and patience, that perseverance. Purity really is about getting rid of me and mine in our thought process, in our being, and to really start dipping into that infinite well of love, forgiving infinitely well to other people, to everyone around us, to learning that lesson and to letting go. And so the purity we're working on is that purity. It's the removal of me and mine. So even in these days when we're stuck in houses and kind of isolated and maybe losing some touch with the people around us, to make an effort to double down on our efforts, to be others focused, to be solution oriented, to blow back to my days of working in the corporate world. Be solution oriented, don't be problem oriented. Keep your eyes on how to make the world better, not on how describing its horrible state or looking for its faults. So that's the way we do it. Be solution-oriented, be others-oriented, root out that me and mine inside. And then he says patience, that perseverance. I like the fact that he says that there is no indecent haste. No indecent haste. There's nothing to hurry up about. Let's not be impatient with the current situation. Let's take it like it is, accept it like it is, assume it may be like this the rest of our lives, and then get about the business of being solution-oriented. How do we create the best possible way of life in the midst of these restrictions, in the midst of these challenges? That's the way we overcome weakness. If we sit and think about the restrictions, if we think about the limitations, and we get caught in that cycle of thinking, we will be defeated. Depression will be our lot, and we'll be beaten. But we won't be beaten. We will accept this as it is, and we will think of our ways of using it to our strength. That's when creativity happens. You know, when you put restrictions on something, when you narrow the way, like Mondrian, when he decided to only use black, white, and 3 basic colors, and only at right angles. You know, that's how he created his most famous artworks. It's this restriction, this limitation that we use to express our infinity, to express our depth of love and caring, our depth of life, our depth of enthusiasm, to rise above, to be better because of, and not defeated in spite of. Purity, patience, and perseverance, the 3 essentials, but above all, love. So, you know, when Brother John, the apostle, he's the only disciple, from my understanding, of Jesus who actually died a natural death, who wasn't martyred, which isn't really a positive thought, but interesting. Anyway, he was exiled, though, to the Isle of Patmos and spent his old age there. And there's a legend that on the Sunday gathering that he would always go to, he would never forsake the weekly gathering, and he was always asked to say something, even in his old age. And so the legend has it that the brothers would help him stand up, and they would walk him up to the front, and that he would look out at the disciples, and he would always say the same thing to them. He'd say, "My brothers, my sisters, love one another." And then they would help him hobble back to his seat and sit him down. That is the message of the divine, the message of the beloved, the message of every song, every poem, every movie. Love one another, brothers. Love one another, sisters. Love one another.